we fight to gain what we cannot take with us. It's in our nature.
Hello there, Seraphim 17 once again. This is my Assassin's Creed Syndicate 100% sync video walkthrough. This is sequence 7, driving Miss Disraeli, which is of course a bit of a pun on a rather famous film. So what you have to do here is you have to distract the paparazzi, and we're going to do so with the paper girl to my right. She's sat on the steps just over there, and it's going to enable us to escort the lady who looks a little bit like Dame Helen Mirren. I think she's a dame, I'm not too sure. She's a national treasure is what she is. And she's fantastic in Excalibur as well as, is it Morrigan? She plays the mean witch lady who's always on Merlin's dick. But she gets the paparazzi on us, and then I run over here and I jump into the stack, but it doesn't seem to work like you think it would. So they all run over here, and because the AI is omniscient, it's like, oh yes, he's in the haystack, we're going to stand around it and not let him do anything. So I wait here for a couple of seconds, hoping that it's going to be like, mission objective finished, so I can get out. And it doesn't work that way, so instead, I climb out and I end up dropping a smoke bomb, I think, and then I run away. So that works as well, you know. Whatever works is always the best strategy, I find. And then I jump in this one. And I believe it's going to transition now. Just wait for it. There it was. So now we've escaped the journalist, we have to get in the carriage and we have to drive the fair maiden into the rough part of town, because she wants to see a little bit of the old rough. And it's a really tricky section, this, but for no really good reason. It's just one of those things where it's really difficult to navigate obstacles when you're escorting somebody, because the clip is so heavy and the animations are so priority heavy that navigating swiftly to get away from someone who is alerted to your presence and coming to investigate is a complete work of art. And it simply doesn't gel at all into anything cohesive or anything really fun. And if you manage to get through it and you manage to, you know, push her around and have no trouble, that's wonderful. I practically had that on my first attempt, but then it must have took me 10 before I decided to say, fuck this game, I'm going to kill everybody. And that's what I did. And that's the strategy I'm going to share. And it's funny because if the load time was 5 seconds or as fast as Halo, you would never see me kill anybody on this game, because I would restart until I could get a clean opportunity. But the moment you make me wait, it demotivises me to... Demotivises? Don't think that's a word. It's demotivational towards my mentality of how I play games. And that was me pressing the wrong button to get out of the vehicle and accidentally wasting a smoke bomb. So I'm going to run down here. The first thing I'm going to do is chuck on Eagle Vision. I'm going to run all the way up to this wall, and then I'm going to shoot one of the crazy aggressive darts at this dude. He's going to run off and do my bidding, and we're going to progress through the level doing this to everyone who's left. And by the end, nobody's going to live. And the mechanic here is you make this woman walk through this area and you avoid all the bad guys, and the way you avoid them is the dog barks to tell you that danger's incoming. But I actually did better on this section without using Eagle Vision or listening to the dog. And I didn't even realise there was this many guards in this area, because as I mentioned, the very first attempt was beautiful. Every attempt afterwards was literally like Groundhog Day until Bill Murray realises he has to grow as a person rather than still being a shallow asshole, and that's the only way it's going to work. Because if you think about Groundhog Day, Murray is everything in that. He's like a suicider, he's a rapist, he's essentially a terrible human being for a very long time, and it's happy-go-lucky, so you laugh and you share his experience, but he does some pretty immoral things in that film. And it is funny, but still, if you think about it, pretty dark stuff. It's like the old invisible man thing, isn't it? What would you do if you could be invisible? And the first thing people either say is rob something so they can get A, something they want, or B, rich, which is generally always a rich thing. And then the next one, if you're a man especially, generally involves some kind of beauty that you probably wouldn't be able to get remotely close to, let alone work your game on them. And if you're invisible, they generally supersede the whole chatting up phase and go straight to the voyeuristic, completely immoral ogling / maybe worse. And isn't it funny how it always goes that way? Ever since I was a kid and that question popped up, it always went that way. And I don't know if it's just because men are filthy, but it always goes that way. It truly does. And it's just human nature. We have way too many wires in our bodies telling us to just, you know, splash our seed on everything we can. It's truly animal, and the people who think that that doesn't exist, wow. The ego and arrogance you must have to think that we're not controlled all the time by impulses. Like, it's such a powerful thing, and you don't just ignore it or let it go, because it truly does. It's best to make you prioritize those things. Just like on this sequence, I'm prioritizing everybody dying because they pissed me off so much. But he's going to run away and die, and I'm going to be happy for it. If it was up to me, I would collect all the bodies and burn them. But I'm not that mean. Although when I pick up somebody by accident, when I'm trying to pick up somebody else, I will toss them in whatever direction I can that will do the most pain. Like, I threw a dude in front of a train the other day. I didn't want to, but I didn't want to pick him up either, so it's his own bloody fault. But once you get over to this checkpoint, there's going to be a little bit of a cutscene, and then we're going to be hunting down a thief who steals her little dog. And it's one of those moments where you can use eagle vision if you want to. Watch that. You see that? How weird is that? I did like some kind of crazy slow motion run before I could move. But his footsteps and the sound of the dog are how you find out where he is. So keep on pushing forward, and you'll eventually get to him. And this is all going to play into a little plot thread that happens a little bit later in the mission. As a whole, I think this is a pretty standard, arbitrary mission. It's just made more complicated by a stealth system that is a little bit too crass at times to really give you a fun and fulfilling experience. But I thought for a second that he might have gone up here, and then I realised that the green square was telling me to go this way, which, when in doubt, always follow the green square thing. But there we go, cutscene is over. We have to escape with Miss Disraeli, so I'm going to drop a smoke bomb if I have them to get rid of our pursuers, because it's a fantastic way of causing chaos and getting out of there free. And it should make us anonymous very shortly, and then it's just a case of driving her home, I would think. But in 7 days from now, Black Ops 3 comes out, and I'm really hoping that I can get it early, because I'm super interested to see what that campaign is. And if it's going to be as hard as they're making it out to be, it could be really cool. I just want you to be able to start on it, because CODs have never been a game that stopped you from starting on the hardest difficulty. However, because they're making an emphasis on this new one, it makes me wonder if they'll force you to play it, like to unlock, which would be really disappointing, because I want to go straight in, and I want to immediately die the second I spawn, and have that familiar feeling of, oh my god, this is going to be tricky. And I really don't think I'm going to get it, and I think it's going to be really, really easy. And they've cut the market in half for the walkthrough, because the people who buy it on the old gen aren't even going to have a campaign and probably aren't going to give a shit. But we'll see how that works. But thank you for watching, and you take care now.